The next section will show how to configure VLAN, network redundancy using port bonding, and IP addresses from TelcoBridges TMedia Gateway web portal. This configuration flow diagram illustrates where we actually are in the configuration process of our system. Configuring the IPs on the TMedia VoIP gateway is the first step before configuring any IP protocols such as SIGTRAN and SIP. On the TMedia web portal, the IP configuration can be found in the left menu and is named IP interfaces. When you click on this menu, the right panel shows 5 tabs named Physical Ports, Virtual Ports, IP Interfaces, RTP Port Ranges, Bonding, and Tunnels. The Physical Ports tab shows the list of all the Giganet Ethernet ports on the unit. From the web portal, you can change the Ethernet PHY transceiver link configuration. By default, it is set as auto negotiation, but can have its link speed and duplex mode manually configured. You can also set an Ethernet port transmit off to force the link down. The next tab shows the list of virtual ports. In this view, you can modify a virtual port by clicking on its name, or create a new virtual port by clicking on Create New Virtual Port. The virtual port defines if the port will be untagged or VLAN tagged. If the port is VLAN tagged, you specify the VLAN ID. It also defines the physical ports that will be working in bonding mode. In the list view, it also shows the list of IP addresses attached to this virtual port. The next tab shows the list of IP interfaces in the system. In this view, you can modify an IP interface by clicking on its name or create a new IP interface by clicking on Create New IP Interface. For an IP interface, you specify a name, then a type of traffic that will be served by this IP or service to use, the virtual port to attach the IP, and the IP address information that can be either dynamic using DHCP or a static IP. The next tab shows the list of RTP port ranges. An RTP port range with the default range from 20,000 to 40,000 is automatically created each time you create an IP interface for the RTP traffic type. A port range can be modified by clicking on its name, or a new range can be created by clicking on Create New RTP Port Range. Port ranges must not overlap. We will see later in the TMedia SIP course how to use an RTP port range in a SIP network access point or an app. The next tab shows the list of bonded interfaces. Those are automatically created when you define a virtual port with more than one physical Ethernet port. For each bonded virtual interface, you can configure a list of IP addresses for ARP or ping polling and enable upstream network device polling for path failure detection. Finally, the last tab regards the configuration of PPPoE tunnels, which we will not cover during this training. Alright, enough talking. It's your turn to work and try what we have seen in the last half an hour. This diagram represents what we will be configuring in the next hands-on activities. You will configure 2 IP addresses on different subnets to carry SIP and RTP towards 3 SBCs on your internal network, and 1 IP address to carry SIP and RTP towards semi-public networks to connect SIP trunks to 2 carriers, TeleIP and IP World. Have fun!